Today I'm going to be giving you 11 tips for finding the perfect domain name for your website. Don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's get started. And we're going to search for instant domain search. I found this website the other day. Great tool. What it allows you to do is start typing right away and finding what you want to find. So, Paul, you can notice as I'm typing, it's saying it's taken, coming up big red. I cannot buy this domain. Someone else has already bought it. So, Paul's website, taken. Paul's web, taken. Paul's webs, hey, that one's free. It's a really quick way to search without having to type that OK. And also beyond that, it gives you some suggestions that you can buy for domains that are available. I want to give you some tips and tricks about stuff that you should or shouldn't do while you're searching for a domain name. The first thing is case sensitivity does not matter. So that doesn't matter if you have Paul web or Paul web. Doesn't matter. That is the exact same website on the internet. So you don't have to worry about capitalization or punctuation. Actually, punctuation is not allowed, which means that my next point. Special characters such as and, percent, at, pound sign, those are not allowed. So you cannot have a website with those in your domain name. The only one you can have is a hyphen, which brings me up to my next point. Avoid hyphen. Do not use hyphens in your domain name. Now, it is possible. So I could do lunch-hour-web.com and it is available. I can buy that. The problem with that is you want your domain to be easily spoken. And if someone else is going to go to your website, you want to be able to explain what it is over a phone or conversation, and then not to have to try and remember all these special things about it. So for example, lunch-hour-web.com, it's going to be harder for someone to remember. So when they get to a computer later, they remember exactly where those hyphens occur. So if you have lunch, hour, web, 3 words put together, it's easier for someone to remember. The next one, keep it simple. Keep it small, keep it short. The ideal domain is probably under 7 or 8 letters long. The problem is, it is becoming increasingly difficult to find a domain that short. So, I mean, obviously, some of the most popular domains in the world are Google, Yahoo, MSN, and so on. Those all have very, very short domain names. Unless you can find maybe some ZRKLME, that one's free, but that's going to be very hard to explain to people. Next. If you already have an established business, I'd probably avoid using any organizational names. So for example, let's just say you are Tom's Roofing, LLC. I would avoid using that. The reason is, it's just, again, harder to let people know. So Tom's Roofing Company, Tom's Roofing Co., Tom's Roofing Org, Tom's Roofing Corp. However you have your business set up, I'd avoid using those parts, your business organizational name in your domain name. Again, it's just easier to remember Tom's Roofing as opposed to Tom's Roofing LLC. Next one is kind of a hit or miss point because there are times it is available, but I would avoid location-based names as well. So let's just say you are in Chicago. So you go, depending on what your business is, depending on why you want a website, this may or may not be a useful tip, but I would avoid it for the most part, and here's the reason why. Let's say you sell something online. You sell knitted sweaters. I'm just making something up off the top of my head. If you go with Chicago knitted sweaters, there, bam, it works. Problem is, the people you're selling to, do you really care if they're from Chicago? Do you really care if they're in California or Maine or Florida? Probably not. So when someone stumbles across your site, they may think, well, shoot, that's not around me. Maybe it doesn't apply to me. They may not even go to your site. However, let's say you have a location-based service where you are attracting visitors. Say you are an attraction, Chicago Butterfly House. Now this might make more sense. you have an attraction where people have to physically come to your location to visit you. In this case, Chicago Butterfly House might make sense. People are looking this online, they're doing a Google search or Bing search for butterfly houses near Chicago. You might rank really highly with this name. So this might make more sense in those sort of situations, but all other businesses, especially ones where you could have customers potentially anywhere in the world, I would advise avoiding location-based names. Alright, just because they are available, I also suggest avoiding adjectives. Adjectives are like happy, fun, sad, silly. And the reason for that is, let's just say you have Silly Pete's. Unless that is your company's name, I would avoid using this. And the reason is pretty simple. Again, when you're talking to people, hey, visit my site. It's called Silly Pete's. If that name doesn't mean anything to them, by the time they get home, by the time they get on the computer, they may forget what that adjective is. So they might think, was it Silly Pete's? Was it Funny Pete's? Was it Crazy Pete's? You know, that sort of thing. So you want to avoid anything that's going to cause confusion or cause people to maybe forget or mix up words. The other ones are conjunctions and articles. Now I had to look up these words. I know what the words are, but I didn't actually know what they're called. Don't tell my 7th grade English teacher. Conjunctions are words like and, but, although, and so on. You want to avoid those in a name, again, because they can be confusing and they just add unnecessary length to your domain name. Another one, articles are the, and, those words just increase your domain name length. So you are the law offices of blank blank. That adds a lot of letters to the beginning of your domain name, and people also tend to forget those words. Just one of those things that can be easily mistyped, easily forgot. The next one I want to suggest is avoiding possessive names. So let's say your name is Mitch, and you want to do Mitch's website. Well, apostrophes aren't allowed, as you know, because special characters are not allowed. So is it Mitch's website? Is it Mitch's website? Is it Mitch website? It gets a little bit confusing there. So if you're talking, it's Mitch's website. If there's any confusion on how to spell it, bad idea. Avoid it. Next one are homonyms and homophones. And I only really know about what those are called because my son is obsessed with this book called Ant Leaves Through the Leaves. It's a funny little book, but it talks about ant, you know, the type of bug, little black insect, ant, which is like your father or your mother's sister. So ant leaves going out the door through the leaves, through the tree leaves. That's the sort of book it's about. It goes on more, I mean, it has a little story behind it, but it's funny. It's chock full of those little words. Now, of course, the problem with those, unless people know what your website's about, they might not know what word you're actually using. Another common one's 444. You guys obviously know about those words. Those are called homonyms or homophones, where two words sound the same but are spelled different, and they may even mean different. So avoid those when possible. Last but not least, when you finally found your website, always go for .com. There are plenty of examples of .net, .us, .info, .co, .biz that are successful, but again, most people, when they hear your website, they think automatically .com. So if your suggestion is already taken, so let's just use Paul's website. Paul's website.com is taken. However, let me see if .net is taken. .net is available. However, when I tell people, go visit paulswebsite.com, I'm sorry, go visit paulswebsite.net, if I were to purchase this, they still might go to paulswebsite.com because that's just one ingrained in our knowledge. At least in my knowledge, most people's knowledge of websites that they go to, they try .com first. Get it when possible. If yours is taken, .com is taken, I really suggest you just search for a completely brand new domain name. Do not try to get a different extension. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the list of this together. I just spoke here for a really long time about what domains to get and what to avoid when choosing a domain name. I'm going to put that in a list as well and put in the resource notes on the website once we have it built. So you guys can download that. You can look at it. I can also update it if there's anything else from my list that I forgot or I think of anything later. So please head over to the website, lunchhourweb.com, and download it. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found the information helpful and useful for whatever it is you're doing on the web. If you liked it, please subscribe by clicking the icon above. Otherwise, you can leave comments, suggestions down below if you have any, and I will make sure to answer. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.